The city was alive. Blaring car horns, hurried footsteps, neon lights flashing advertisements no one truly cared about. Amid the rush, one figure sat motionless on the cracked pavement. An old man, wrapped in layers of tattered clothing, his gray beard unkempt, his boots worn down to the soles. A cardboard sign lay beside him, scrawled in shaky handwriting. "Spare some change. Hungry? God bless." But no one stopped. No one even looked. For years, he sat on the same corner, invisible to the world. People walked past him every day, yet not one of them truly saw him. He was just another homeless man, just another forgotten soul. His name was James, but to the city, to the world, he was no one. That evening, as the bitter wind howled through the streets, James huddled into himself, his frail body trembling. He had fought battles before, real ones, in real wars. But this was the battle he could never win. The war against time, against loneliness, against being forgotten. He reached into his coat pocket, his fingers brushing against something cold and metallic, a small, rusted metal. The last proof that he had once been someone, that he had once mattered. But who would ever know? Inside a nearby coffee shop, a young journalist, Emily Carter, sat by the window, sipping her drink, waiting for inspiration. She was always searching for the next big story, something that could finally make her career. Then she noticed the old man outside. At first she felt nothing, just another homeless person. But then her eyes caught something, a faded tattoo on the old man's wrist, an emblem, a symbol Emily had seen before. It was a military insignia, a rare one, a mark of an elite squadron. And suddenly, Emily wasn't just looking at a homeless man, she was looking at a soldier, a war hero. Curiosity burned inside her. Who was this man? How did a veteran end up on the streets? She grabbed her coat and stepped outside. "Sir," she said, kneeling beside him, "are you a veteran?" James didn't answer at first. He simply stared at Emily, his faded blue eyes hollow, tired. But then, almost in a whisper, he spoke. "A long time ago, I was." Emily felt a chill. There was something about the way James said it, like he had already accepted that his past no longer mattered. "Can I buy you something to eat?" Emily asked. For the first time in years, James hesitated. People usually ignored him, or worse, through insults, told him to leave. But this young woman was different. After a long pause, he nodded. Over a steaming bowl of soup in a quiet diner, James slowly began to talk. Piece by piece, Emily uncovered his story. Decades ago, James had been more than just a soldier. He had been a hero, a man who had saved countless lives, had been awarded medals, had once stood in front of cheering crowds. But war doesn't just end on the battlefield. When James returned home, there were no parades, no celebrations, only a world that had moved on without him. His family was gone. His friends, lost to time. He had nothing. The government that had once sent him to war now barely remembered his name. One by one, everything was taken from him. His home, his dignity, his place in the world. And soon, he became what he feared the most, forgotten. Emily felt her chest tighten. This wasn't just a story. This was an injustice. Determined, she went home that night and began her research. She searched archives, military records, newspaper articles, and what she found sent shivers down her spine. James had received the highest honor for bravery. He had been in classified missions. He had once been celebrated as a national hero. And now he slept in the streets. The next morning, Emily published her article, "The Hero We Abandoned: The True Story of a Forgotten Veteran." It spread like wildfire. News stations picked it up. Social media exploded with outrage. Donations poured in, offers of housing, jobs, even government recognition. People who had walked past James every day now wanted to help him. The world had finally opened its eyes. Excited, Emily rushed back to the street corner, eager to tell James the good news. But James wasn't there. His spot was empty. All that remained was a single envelope. Emily picked it up, her heart pounding. Inside was a handwritten note. "I never wanted money. I never wanted fame. I only wanted one thing: to be remembered just once before I go. Thank you for giving me that. Now, I can finally rest." Emily's hands shook. Tears